So, yeah, so what does that mean? Raising consciousness, becoming conscious. Don't you think everybody should do that? Think of all the people you know who you think, well, that wasn't very conscious. Couldn't that person just wake up and understand what's going on? Of course, every time we do that, we have to remember that we're maybe projecting out that perhaps, we ourselves need to become a little more conscious, a little more awake, a little more aware of what's going on. And we don't want to just look at what other people are needing to do. Of course, we want to pay attention to what we ourselves need to do. So we define, what does it mean to become conscious? We might have to define that a little bit. And in its most simplistic way of understanding it, right, it means not being on autopilot. Right? It means not being on autopilot. It means being intentional about life. It means being present to what's going on. It means, do I really want to be this way? Do I want to behave this way? Do I want this thing to come out of my mouth? Or am I simply reacting? Having some kind of a knee-jerk reaction or being, as I said, on autopilot. One of the ways that we can get a sense for autopilot, like how many times have you driven home from work or from someplace, you've driven home and you get into the garage and you think, wait, I don't actually remember the trip. I don't remember getting here because I was thinking about all these other things, right? And yet we knew how to drive and we, got there safely. That's being on autopilot. We're not actually present to what we're doing and what's going on. Now, there's a lot of conversation about becoming conscious and waking up and paying attention and not being asleep and all of those things. And a lot of them are psychologically based. And I don't know about you, but I've spent a lot of time trying to make myself aware, to wake up and to not fall into old patterns. Up to today. Still working on it, especially when I work on it from a purely psychological point of view, because that feels like I'm having to, bludgeon my brain into seeing it differently. And I often feel as though I'm doing it wrong, or I don't actually know what I'm doing, or quite frankly, that I'm stuck. I'm stuck with the trauma of my past, or I'm stuck with the habits, the habitual ways I've learned to protect myself, close myself off, project. It's so much easier to make you wrong than for me to own whatever's going on, right? All that stuff. And so when we talk about becoming conscious in metaphysics, in the science of mind, we talk about it from a much larger point of view. We talk about it from a spiritual perspective, a big picture perspective, because it's actually based on an entirely different idea about what's going on in life, the nature of reality, and the truth of who we are. So, to talk about how to get off autopilot, the first thing we have to do is we have to talk about the universe. I know that might feel like a bit of a leap, but go with me here. I promise you, there's something really important about this. And it will keep us from trying to bludgeon ourselves and our brain, and we'll stop asking, why do I keep doing this? Right? It'll give us an entirely different place to stand. So we're going to start big picture. And our big picture about consciousness is both from a spiritual point of view and from a scientific point of view. Right? So when we start out in spirituality, Hinduism has this lovely phrase that we've said many times in many classes. It comes directly out of Hinduism and translated into English. It is the idea that everything is conscious. Everything is conscious. Because life is consciousness itself. And the way that's expressed is consciousness sleeps in the rocks, waves in the grass, moves in the animal, and awakens in the human. Or quite frankly, anywhere where self-awareness is coming to wake up to itself.